In today's video, we're checking out EcoFlow's all-new dual-fuel generator. We'll get everything out of the box and go through it, like this manual, which, for the most part, nobody reads. You will see a propane line. This has an inline regulator in it, along with a quick connect, and then it does come with a data cable too. This helps connect to Delta Pro, Delta 2, and more. It does come with a toolkit as well, along with a funnel to help fill up the oil when you are servicing it. But now we'll get the main styrofoam piece out of the way so we can get the generator out of the bag and get this out of the box. And one thing you do want to do is keep that box just in case, and here's our generator. We'll compare the new one with the old one to see if there are any differences and go over all the other features. Like the faceplates are pretty much exactly identical, along with also the ID tags as far as your carbon monoxide, oil indicators, and more. But when you go in to look at the 20 amp outlet that's on this side, the other one actually now has a reset button. So you have your 20 amp and a reset button so you don't have to shut off the generator. And now you also have the data cord, which this will plug into Delta Pro, Delta 2, and more. When turning on the generator, the face panel is exactly the same as far as indicators, and also the fuel selector switch is mostly the same. They just basically changed the ID tags from a gas can to on-off only. But the biggest difference is going to be this. Behind the dust cover is where you'll find a new quick connect fitting for the dual fuel or your propane hookup, which I like this because nobody else has really done a quick connect on the generator side. So now this is really simple. You take off the dust cover that's on the propane side, and then the collar you don't slide back or forth. It's just ready to press on. You'll hear it click, and that's it. Now you can give it a pull. It's not going to go anywhere, and this can all be done one-handed. You simply slide the collar back and now put the dust cover on, and that's basically it. We'll get going with the rest of the generator so we can get it fired up. As far as the back, it's pretty much the same as far as muffler and exhaust cover as well. The side of the generator where you service it, the door is actually just a little different as it says dual fuel now. That's really about it. The fuel tank is the same size along with the fuel cap and vent, but this side is my own generator that I did add a dual fuel kit, which I found this off of another generator that does work because some of the engines are the same in a lot of different models. But now we'll pop off the side panels to see if they've updated the engine, carburetor, and more. I assume the carburetor will be different because it is dual fuel, but maybe the engine as well. Now, as we take a look, this is the older model. You can see the big blue lithium-ion battery, the carburetor with 2 stepper motors on the top. That's the dual fuel kit. And then this is an 80cc Yamaha clone engine from Ratto Engineering. These have been around actually a long time, used in a lot of different generators. And those stepper motors, boom, you see them right there. This is the new generator. Lithium-ion battery, airbox, and intake is all the same. And this engine as well is also from Ratto Engineering, and it is an 80cc, basically a Yamaha clone engine. And some of the main differences you'll see right off the bat is you have the couple stepper motors, but you also have this big black line. That's the propane line, and in the back, that's going to be the load regulator for the propane. And that's going to control the load and the flow of the propane going to the carburetor here. And they also added a solenoid for the fuel shutoff switch. And I'll show you how these work. These are super simple. As we take it out of the carburetor, it's just got a pin, and the pin goes back and forth depending on what it's supposed to do as far as propane or gas. As we turn it on and it's set up for propane, that pin comes out, stops the flow of fuel in the carburetor, and as you shut the generator off, the pin goes back in, and now the fuel is ready to flow back inside the carb. We'll go ahead and add oil to the generator, and it calls for in the manual a 10W40 type, and you can use whatever brand you want, and you can use conventional, semi-synthetic, or full synthetic. I like using the semi-synthetic myself. But while you guys are here, if you like the video, smash the like button and subscribe if you want to hang out and be part of the group, and make sure you ring that bell, that way you don't miss any other videos coming out. And check that oil level and make sure it's halfway up the dipstick, and also be sure to plug in that battery before you put the cover back on. Now, when adding fuel, 87 octane is all you need. You're not going to gain any performance by using a higher octane fuel. And also, while you're at it, make sure you add some kind of a fuel conditioner like Lucas products. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've always had good luck using this product. And definitely when it comes to storage, it makes it to where if you forget about it, you're not going to have any problems when it comes time to use your generator again. We'll go ahead and turn on the battery selector switch. This will turn the unit on. Now I'm going to pull on the starter cord slowly. This is going to help start circulating oil up onto the crank bearings and more, and this will also help draw fuel from the fuel tank and down into the carburetor, so it should fire right up. And away it goes. So that was pretty easy as far as that. Now we'll go ahead and take a little walk around it, and also it's already set in eco mode, so it is at lower idle. So looking good. Sounding good, and to me, it almost sounds like it could be a little bit quieter than the original model. Now, it could be just me, but while we're here, we might as well do a sound check just to see the difference between both of them. Okay, this is where I normally do my sound check. It's 23 feet away. I've got a little spot that I've had marked. And if you look at it, we're right about, I'd say this is about 58 decibels. And I've done a lot of different generator testing in this spot. And it is a little bit windy today because we did finally get a storm to move in and get some rain, but we'll just call this pretty much 58 and we'll get the other one. Okay, now the older model, as we take a look, there is a little bit of wind blowing, but for the most part, I think these numbers are pretty much the same. About 58 is probably what we'll call it. Okay, now we're going to do a propane test just to see if we actually get the performance out of it like you normally would. And so one thing that really is cool about this cord, it's all one-handed. Pop the top, and then you just slide this on and click, give it a pull. Look at that, one-handed, no problem. And now we'll open this up. Now, I did have some questions about this, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. So as we tighten this down, now I'm going to go ahead and turn on this switch, and I'll show you what I mean from some of the questions that I got. Let me come over here to the front. Now, as we take a look at the display, this is what people were asking. And as you see, that says 99%. So you're not going to be able to get your fuel level anymore when using propane, because obviously it can't tell what the level is of the propane bottle. So you can get one of those external gauges. They work okay. At least gives you an idea. But that was some of the questions people were wondering. All right, probably still has to prime the system. Try that again. Oh, wait, I forgot it. Starts its own. And there we go. Okay, you can kind of hear it switch from the gas over to propane, and I'm going to just make sure by getting a quick little whiff, just to see if it smells like propane, which, yeah, it does. Smells like an old propane school bus. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to show you is that the performance from gas to propane, if you look, it says 1800 watts or 1.8 kilowatts or 1600 on propane. Now, normally I only get 1650 on gas, and again, this does turn 5,000 RPM, so we're going to check that as well here in just a second after we get it hooked up. But there is one important thing you should do is change the oil in your generator after the first hour. It's only been about 15 minutes, but if you've seen my other videos, I showed you one where it's 30 minutes and the oil almost came out completely gray. This is actually looking pretty good. There is a little gray tint in it, and I already see a couple metal flakes because it's basically washing the engine when you put in this oil for the first run. And so you can't really see it on camera very good, but there is a little gray tint in there. There are a few metal flakes. So I suggest changing it 1 hour after you've done all your break-in stuff, and then go on to your kind of normal intervals of maybe 10 hours after that, then every 50, or depending how hard you use a generator. But for the most part, this actually doesn't look too bad, but it has only been 15 minutes. Okay, so we're going to plug it into the Delta Pro and get it hooked up on propane and see what kind of performance. Do we really get 1600, or is it going to be like 1450 to 1500? Kind of like gas, how it says it does 1800, but you really only get 1650. So we'll plug this in, and I do have the generator set at 1800, or basically full DC output. And again, plug this in, which I really like this. There's no tools involved, so that's definitely slick. Now I got to change mine, but now that we got this, oh yeah, turn this on real quick because it did say 34 on there. Now it says, well, let's turn it on, sorry. Turn that guy there. All right, so now it says 99, so it's on propane. Fire it up. Have to let it prime up again, so give it a second. Okay, now we'll see, is it gonna actually put out full wattage, so we'll watch it come up. And again, this is one thing I kind of don't like, how it goes from 0 to full throttle. No matter what the temperature is, there is no warm-up. So this is one of the things I kind of don't like about the generator. But we'll see how far up it goes. And look at that, 1600. So, and just a little bit over. But look at that, yeah. So 1600 on propane, cool. And pretty much holding steady there. And 1600 there, so that's actually good. We're getting exactly what it says, and normally on gas you get 1650, so I'm wondering if this one will be a little bit different from the original, and will we get 17 or 1750 out of it. And one of my other pet peeves is basically how many RPMs this engine turns. It's higher than all the other ones, but you can see we're maxed at 5,000. It's even pegging the rev limiter once in a while. I can hear it kind of shut off or just kind of chirp a little bit. So that's kind of the thing I don't like, but I mean, it seems to do fine. We'll see what happens after we get 500 hours on some of these and more. Okay, gas test. So now we'll see if the generator will put out any extra over the original, or is it going to be roughly about 1650. And we should see this here kick on and up and go. And again, 0% throttle, basically the 100% throttle is kind of the one things again that I kind of don't like, but you know, for the most part it'll probably be fine, but it's just one of my pet peeves, I guess. So now we'll see if we get a little bit extra from the original, but looks like about 1650 is where it's stopping, and that might just be the actual input that the EcoFlow Delta allows. It's only 1650, but that is pretty much where it seems to be holding, right about 1650. Goes up and above that a little bit here and there. So looks like 1650 going to be the same as the old one. So what do you guys think? If you have a comment or question, leave it down below or check out this video right here.